In the headlines this afternoon, it's the ITV Lunchtime News.
Good afternoon, I'm Sangeeta Kandola. The Royal College of Nursing has urged the government not to be disrespectful to striking nurses and to get round the table immediately to resolve their pay dispute. It comes as nurses who work in A&E, intensive care and cancer services in England have joined the picket lines for the very first time today in what has been described as the biggest industrial action so far. Harry Horton reports.
Protect the NHS!
We are the NHS!
Across England, nurses have once again walked off the front line and onto the picket line. Their strike action is escalating, but nurses say poor pay and conditions has left them with no choice.
They just can't keep going on giving their goodwill anymore because they don't have anything left to give.
Do you think there's enough determination to keep striking until you get this better pay deal?
I think so, yeah.
Every single day that I go to work, I worry about patient safety and I worry that people are not in an environment where we can look after them properly.
Members of the Royal College of Nursing walked out last night and will strike until midnight tonight. Nurses who work in intensive care, A&E and cancer care will be among those striking, but some exemptions are in place for critical care. Unite members at some ambulance services are also striking today and tomorrow. Ministers say today's strikes will be incredibly disruptive and will do little to help the 7 million NHS patients waiting for treatment. Ron Flewitt has a lung condition and has been waiting almost 2 years for a transplant.
Every day I wake up, we think we're going to get the phone call. So today, are we going to get that phone call? I just don't know.
You're in limbo. You don't know what your life holds, and it is in the hands of obviously the donors and the doctors and nurses.
Union leaders say they're prepared to strike until the end of the year.
And that's really unfortunate that we may have to do that and push these people onto picket lines to then. But we can actually draw them to a close very quickly if the Secretary of State and this government does the decent thing for nursing staff and pays them a decent wage.
Tomorrow, unions, employers and the government will discuss the latest pay offer, but some in the NHS say unless the offer improves, disruption will continue. Harry Horton, ITV News.
The midday deadline for British nationals and others to board an extra evacuation flight to flee Sudan has passed. The government here say the military are working around the clock amid an uneasy ceasefire. So far, more than 2,000 people have been flown out of Sudan, but there are concerns more than 1,000 British passport holders may still be in the country. Donald Trump is in Scotland visiting his golf courses there. The former president's private plane landed in Aberdeen this morning before he was whisked away to his golf resort at the nearby Menny estate. Well, Peter Smith is there for us. Peter, what more do we know about Trump's trip then?
Well, we know that the last time Donald Trump came to the UK in 2019, he was still US president. When he touched down in the northeast of Scotland this morning, he was the first US president in history to be facing criminal charges. As he stepped off the plane onto the tarmac at Aberdeen Airport, I shouted over a question, "Have you come here to escape your troubles at home?" And his reply was, "It's great to be home. This was my mother's home." He was then taken away. We know that this morning Donald Trump's lawyers have also filed for a mistrial in one of his court cases in the civil action where he's accused of defamation and rape by E. Jean Carroll. His lawyers have this morning submitted an 18-page report accusing the judge in that case of demonstrating bias against the former president, and that's why they're calling for a mistrial. But while Donald Trump is here, he is now away from the media glare on his golf course in the Menny estate. He's expected to be here until midweek, and then he'll head off to Ireland, where he also has a golf course on Doonbeg.
OK, Peter, thank you. Pubs and restaurants across the country are hoping this month's bank holidays provide a financial boost after a difficult year, with soaring energy costs putting many businesses under pressure. New figures show that 12 hospitality venues have shut each day in Britain over the past year. Well, Hamish Al-Scary is at Perky Blenders Cafe in North London. Hamish, how's business looking there then?
Well, Sangeeta, it's been busy here today, of course, with many people out to get their bank holiday coffee and a cake. And this bank holiday, the one next weekend and the one at the end of May, come as a welcome boost to the hospitality sector after what has been an immensely difficult year. In fact, the latest industry research says that 4,500 licensed hospitality venues have closed over the year to March, with most of them citing high inflation and the cost of living crisis as being major drivers of the issues, including the owner of this cafe.
Well, we've seen some challenges in the last year. The store that we're in today has opened in the last 12 months. We've been lucky enough to be able to renegotiate rent here, but businesses that don't focus on the quality and the value in their products are probably seeing a decline.
The concern with many in the industry is that the rate of closure is much higher among independent businesses compared to the big brands, and in response to that, the UK government has said they've responded with an unprecedented package of support for businesses, including saving them £5.9 billion of energy costs. But this particular place is a success story. This brand opened in 2015 as just a coffee kiosk outside a station. It now has many branches across the city, but many other businesses across the country are really struggling after a difficult year.
OK, Hamish, thank you very much. And finally, Mark Selby will be taking on Luca Brecel in the final day of the World Snooker Championship later, after making history last night. This was the moment Leicester-born Selby became the first ever player to make a 1-4-7 maximum break in the final at the Crucible. At the end of play, he trailed Brecel 9-8, but no matter what happens today, this moment of snooker perfection secures his place in the record books. And that is all this lunchtime. Kylie Pentelow will be here with the evening news at 6:15. Until then, do have yourselves a great afternoon. Bye-bye.